This was one of the first videos I ever did on the channel. So today we are finally going to be bringing it back because we are gonna go 10 years into the future and rebuild the worst team in the NFL. So we are gonna see what that team is gonna be in a second, how bad that team is gonna be, and even try to win them a Super Bowl. But super quick, this is gonna be like the shortest intro I've ever done. If we can get to 2,000 likes on the video, it'll let me know y'all wanna see this, but 20 years in the future. Subscribe for more if you like rebuilds, because that's literally all I do. And this summer I'm gonna have college football rebuilds coming and still a ton of Madden rebuilds. And very last thing, massive shout out to Zapstream for the suggestion of this video. And if you want to shout out, or if you just want to let me know what you want to see next, let me know that down in the comments. But without further ado, let's get 10 years into the future and we will see what team we are gonna be rebuilding. Okay, now at the end of 2033, looks like the Seahawks are still mid, so tough day to be me, but 10 years in the future, it looks like the Dallas Cowboys are the best team in the league at 15-2, of course, with the Bills, Falcons, Vikings, Saints, and Rams also up here, but the worst team in the NFL in terms of record, and what is going to be our team for the next 5+ years is the Green Bay Packers. Not exactly the team I expected. I just assumed it would be a bad team currently in real life, like maybe the Panthers, I guess Cardinals, Giants. So we'll have to see what this team looks like. Okay, so are we just gonna start with like the best roster in the league? I mean, the Falcons have a 91, same with the Colts, but as the Packers, we have a 90 overall team to start with. But clearly that doesn't really mean anything because there is a big problem with this team, and that is the offense. 30th for points per game and probably 25th for yards. And big surprise, it looks like a blocking issue. And I think this is the rare time where we might go full rebuild mode. I like to do more realistic rebuilds, but I might trade away a lot of these Packers players, at least the older expensive ones, and try to make my own team, which is something I rarely get to do, so this is going to be a ton of fun. Let's get into this first off season and we will see what we want to do. And big surprise, even 10 years into the future, the Cowboys are winning Super Bowls in Madden. Big surprise. But this is going to be really interesting to see. Who are we going to have to re-sign with this team? I'll go over the roster a little bit in a second, just to see who some of our trade, not necessarily targets, but trade away targets could be and who we might try to develop. But we only have 2 re-signings. Oh, because the Packers already went through and withdrew from all these players, but that's probably fine. Ooh, Jaden Reed is here. He was going to be one of my trade away targets because he's 34, but I don't even think we can keep him to begin with. But let's see, X Factor tight end Leo Culliver. Let's actually re-sign Jaden Reed first, but this might be a re-sign and trade type deal. He does re-sign. We will pick up the 5th year option for Eric Hubbard. Actually, he's only an 81 overall and it's 17 mil. I'm good, but we will franchise tag Leo Culliver at tight end. So now let's start trading players away. And it looks like Jaden Reed is the oldest player on the team. I don't know how much value we can get for a 34-year-old receiver, so already starting off with an interdivision trade here. We're sending him to the Lions for a 3rd round pick. And you know what? I was gonna trade away Alex Cooper because he is 32 years old at right tackle, but other than this recent year, at least in terms of Madden stats, he's been really good at right tackle. In real life, this would be pretty terrible, but for Madden, this is about as good as you get for like a 90 overall. And we are gonna get a 2nd round pick from the Seahawks for Corey Holcomb, a 31-year-old 90 overall X Factor tight end. Again, a bit much for an older player, but hey, they accepted it. And I wanted to trade Clint Snowden away, but unfortunately, every team just wouldn't need him or can't afford him. Most people can't find the Clint, but NFL teams can't afford it. But last trade, we are also going to be trading Rayshon Odom, which is a crazy name. We're going to be sending him and then 2 backups because cap reasons to the Cardinals for a 3rd round pick. So I think that's all the trading I'm going to show. I'll probably trade a couple more players away just because we still have a decent amount of older players. But once I'm done, we will get into free agency. But okay, now down to an 86 overall, but a little bit of cap space. Not much, but 30 mil. And we are going to spend a decent bit of that on free agents. Nobody crazy good, but a lot of decent budget signings because, you know, it would be weird to trade your team away and then spend all the money you just saved. So we're trying to get all these players. I just tried to go for younger players with good dev traits, if you couldn't tell. I do want Mike Newell because he has X Factor, but it's not hard to find, you know, like a good safety. So I guess it's not the end of the world if we don't get him, but let's see if all these players sign. I'm assuming most of them will. We do get Newell. Okay, we get pretty much everybody. Just Manny Hendricks or Kendricks, a superstar corner, doesn't sign, but maybe he will. But let's get to the draft, and this is a very, very important draft. I mean, this is gonna dictate how this entire rebuild goes. If we get a good draft here, I mean, this could be a crazy good team by the end of this, so we will see what we can do. But of course, we have the #1 pick, and honestly, I highly doubt we're gonna use this pick. Now, I haven't looked at these two receivers. I did focus scout them. Kalen Barlow looks pretty good. Definitely not worth the #1 pick. Kind of the same deal with Bo Ballard. He looks better, but the speed isn't great. So we, of course, are gonna trade this pick back and pick up, hopefully, a ton of value. But okay, we're gonna be trading down with the Texans. We're gonna trade down to pick 9 and pick up all these extra picks. Did I say pick enough times? And they're probably gonna go with a defensive end or a tackle. A tackle, okay, those are always the #1 pick for some reason. Not even a left tackle, a right tackle. And then I think we are gonna go with a receiver here, but like there are some other really good ones. Dalvin Ragland looks amazing on paper, maybe even better than Ballard. I don't know, it's close. It's hard to say. And then Darren Abbott also looks really good. Maybe even better because he has a short route and he's a year younger. Ooh, okay, wait. A deep threat with a short route running is interesting. But you know what? I still think I am going to go with Ragland. He at least had a couple elite traits. I mean, it's strength and jumping is cool. I guess those are two decently important traits for receivers. Not the most important, but pretty important. Abbott only has great for both, but there is a pretty big difference. And Ragland actually has good speed, so we'll take him. Of course, normal dev. Great. Well, it looks like I picked the wrong one. Maybe the best overall, but doesn't matter. He has normal dev. My fault, I guess. And unfortunately, I'm struggling to find like true studs in this draft class. This doesn't seem like a great one. Malik Lamb looks good. It's just he's barely scouted, but what is scouted is A-man coverage, but he could also have like D play rec and D pursuit and he would be horrible. But he at least has great speed, good acceleration. We'll take a chance. We kind of need a safety still. It's going to be one of those rebuilds, isn't it? Normal dev. Great. But let's try to break this streak of normal devs with Cam Cook. Insane athlete. He's 280 pounds and ran a 4.66. He has great strength too, 35 bench reps, a power moves pursuit tackle. Now this dude looks insane on paper. He's probably only going to be like a 74 because defensive ends are always disappointing in reality for some reason, but we will still take him. Where did I go wrong in life? There goes the tight end I was going to take. I guess we don't need a tight end too badly. But all right, last pick I'm going to show. I'll take a few more, but I'm going to be honest, I don't think we're going to hit one dev trait. Corners are the position where, you know, you can find a good one, but they'll have normal dev. Like you can find like an 82 overall and they'll have normal dev. So Addison Whitmore, now that I say all that, he's going to have hidden. What a call. What a call. At least we get one. I think we got pretty good overall players though, so we'll see how we did. But okay, we didn't draft very well. The players we got were decent. Like these are all pretty good value picks. The only bad pick was Dalvin Ragland. If he had a dev trait, then it wouldn't be horrible, but I think he was the worst out of the 3 receivers we were looking at. Well, he was the same overall as one of them, but Ballard, I thought he was the worst out of the 3. Okay, he just has really good spec catch release, catch in traffic, whatever. And then Abbott was the same overall, but he had a dev trait, so that's just unlucky. But yeah, the rest of our draft wasn't too bad. I took like all these players. I think the last one I picked, Goddard, in the 5th round. I mean, we kind of made up for that first pick. Like we got a 77 overall corner in the late 3rd. Just some pretty good players overall, so we did okay. Nothing too great, nothing too terrible. I also didn't realize I took 4 cornerbacks. I don't know what we're gonna do with them, but at least they're all pretty good. But okay, here we are heading into year 1. Honestly, I have no idea how we're gonna do this year. We're an 87 overall, which is one of the lowest overall teams in the league, I would assume. I think the lowest when I was checking checking was like an 85. It's kind of interesting how the farther you get into franchise, the more similar every team becomes, at least on paper. Like every team was between mostly like an 88 and a 90. There were a few outliers, I guess, but it's still interesting. But we should be pretty good this year. Also, I don't even know if I've mentioned him yet, but Hayden Griffin, I don't know where they picked him. I would assume pretty high. 7th overall, and he was the rookie of the year, Hayden Griffin. He's still only 22 with superstar dev at QB, so this could be our QB option for the entire rebuild. He probably will be. I was assuming, you know, whatever team we got thrown onto would have like an old, real-life underperforming quarterback, and we were gonna have to draft a new one. I wasn't expecting the team that we went to have the offensive rookie of the year at QB. So at least on paper, this team could be insanely good by the end of this. But all right, let's get to the midseason point, and we will see how this team does. I'm gonna guess we'll be 2-5, because clearly there's some issue with this team that we're gonna have to fix. So I'll say 2-5. All right, I guess I'm just the GOAT. I don't know, we're 2-5. I really do know this game too well. I can not 100% predict what's gonna happen, but like pretty close. We're just horrible across the board though. Our defense sucks and our offense sucks. We had a good defense last year, and I really didn't change anything with it. We still have the Packers defensive scheme and playbook. I mean, we're on pace to be better at least, but still weird. But our offense is better, which is good. Not a whole lot better, but better. But 4 re-signings. We thankfully have a lot of money. Also, wait, this didn't even click in my mind. We have an X-Factor center. These are so rare. He might have got like a dev trait increase. He might have won like best alignment at one point, but if you didn't know, X-Factor doesn't do anything for linemen. I think I've drafted one before. They might have taken him out. I don't know. Really weird though. But we have to re-sign basically all of our good players this year, or at least, you know, half of them. So Michael Dawkins, 3 years, 78 mil. He isn't even that expensive. Like by this point in real life, one of the best corners in the league is probably going to be making like 50 mil per year or more, because with the way it's trending, probably more. But he does resign. Leo Culliver will offer 5 years 50. I'm not sure if he'll take this. We'll go 5 years 52, and he doesn't take it. Great. Elias Reveron, which is a crazy name. I don't think I've ever mentioned that yet. He honestly isn't very good, like in terms of performance. 7 sacks at center, 6. He's on pace for like 7 or 8 this year. I'm good. Eric Hubbard is whatever. He's replaceable. Honestly, I don't really want any of the rest of these players. Maybe Alex Cooper. Okay, he is doing better this year than last year. He is old, but we'll go 2 years 42. He takes it. And then I think that's all we're gonna do. Just re-sign our punter. So let's get to the end of the year. I definitely want the tight end back, but if not, I mean, it's not the end of the world. He's already like 26. He's not gonna develop much more, so. All right, let me predict again. I was right with what we would be at the midseason. Are we gonna bounce back, get worse, or stay the same? I'm gonna say our stats aren't good. I'm gonna say we're gonna stay the same and go either 5-12 or 6-11. Let's see. Oh, and of course, I wanted interior O-line because I was worried about it for the future. Top 3 weaknesses in the class: center, right guard, left guard. Awesome. Okay, well, I was close. We went 4-13. More importantly, we beat the Vikings 42-10 in week 18, and the Vikings won the division at 7-10. What a first year. What a, if this isn't the most Madden EA type NFL season ever, then I don't know what is. And I wonder who's going to win the Super Bowl this year. Surely it won't be the Cowboys. Actually, maybe they're not even in the playoffs, unless the NFC East was absolutely stacked, because I see Eagles at 13-4 and Giants and Commanders at 11-6. Okay, no, the Cowboys didn't do well this year. They missed the playoffs at 11-6? What? But the Vikings made it at 7-10. That's only in Madden. Only in Madden. But Hayden Griffin was decent. 3,900 yards, 27 touchdowns, 9 picks. This would be a really good year for real life, but here this is probably like one of the worst passing seasons. Yeah, at least in terms of passer rating, it was towards the bottom. Oh, and Dion Grove at running back. We need a new running back. Overall doesn't matter. Like, he's a pretty good overall, 88. 700 yards, 3.5 per carry. I mean, 12 touchdowns, but who cares? Almost 1,200 yards for Dalvin Ragland Ragland is a rookie, though, 9 touchdowns. I wanted to get him a lot of playing time so, you know, we can make that pick a little more worth it. Also, I didn't even realize Dalvin Ragland was probably Hayden Griffin's #1 receiver in college. They're both from Stanford, and they came out a year apart, so yeah, definitely. That's crazy. Leo Culliver was decent. Saul Wright, which another interesting name, was decent. The blocking was better this year. Everyone either had 9 sacks allowed or 8. Also, Chris Sharp, 9 sacks allowed from right guard. That is something. Probably going to trade him. But 140 tackles for Clements led the team. 22 TFLs for Cliff Stevenson, and sacks, 9 for Stevenson, 7 for Eric Dunn, 6.5 for Nick Ramirez, and then 2 total interceptions. Again, if this isn't the most Madden season I've ever seen, I don't know what is. Oh yeah, and you know, definitely bold of the Jets to draft another QB named Zach, but this guy's actually good. I think he's won back-to-back MVPs. Also, Patrick Mahomes is the Commanders quarterback. Lamar is the Eagles quarterback. That's something I didn't even think about. We'll have to see where all these players went. Joe Burrow is the Patriots quarterback. I could see that for some weird reason. Bryce Young is the Bills QB. Definitely some interesting stuff happening. Caleb Williams on the Broncos, but Stevenson at number 6 for Defensive Rookie of the Year, or Player of the Year. Offensive Rookie of the Year obviously goes to Dalvin Ragland, so we made that pick worth it. That was the plan. And Dwayne Walford won Defensive Rookie of the Year. Oh yeah, I guess it's probably not many rookies starting anymore because there's so many good overall players already. Addison Whitmore at number 4. Cam Cook, a backup D lineman, at number 9. But okay, let's get into the second offseason here, and we're gonna make some more trades. I feel like that goes without saying. But okay, for our other re-signings, obviously do we want Leo Culliver back? I mean, he was fine this year. You know what? I'm gonna assume that there are gonna be a lot of free agent tight ends. Actually, I don't know. Where does Culliver rank at an 85? Number 22? That would be like a 75 overall in real life. Like, that isn't great. How about Reveron, just to get like a gauge for how the league's looking? Number 9, okay, that's more fair. But I'm not gonna pick up the 5th here for DeMarcus Shaw. I don't know why they drafted him. It looked like they already had pass rushers. Oh, it looks like he started, or well, not started, but got some playing time last year. Also, Rashad Winters held up a lot better than I expect as our worst overall lineman, so we'll see. It would be hard to re-sign him here, but maybe in free agency. But okay, speaking of that, let's get into free agency, and I think, like I said, we're gonna start this off with a trade. Okay, we're gonna be trading Sharp to the Panthers for a 2nd round pick. Sharp was good the other 2 years. I don't know what happened, but this year he was just, I mean, 9 sacks from right guard. That is insane, even for Madden. Like, one thing I'll give Madden is they kind of have like the order down for which O-line positions allow the most sacks. Like, it goes left tackle, left guard, center, right guard usually, because, you know, blindside's harder, and then tackle's harder than guard for pass protection usually. So yeah, 9 sacks at right guard. We're not doing that. Plus he was 32. Like, I'm good. But now we need 3 O-line positions, so I guess we kind of needed O-line to begin with because it played horribly, but we still do need it on paper. Oh yeah, and for dev traits, Ramirez went up to X Factor. I didn't necessarily expect that. He wasn't that good. What did he do? I guess the TFLs, but like, we need sacks. I guess this was his best year by a lot in terms of sacks, but still, 6.5. That's not great. So he got one, Wolford got one, or Walford, I can't read. Oh, okay, Ragland got star, but Matt Ash has X Factor at receiver. Okay, interesting. How we feeling about tight end? I mean, that's not really realistic, but that would be kind of fun. You'd go up to a 78, and we really have no use for him at receiver. You know what? It's happened before, and I rarely do this in more realistic style rebuilds, which this isn't. So you know what? I'll give myself the pass to do maybe something unrealistic. Did my game crash? Oh, my controller died. Or just shut itself off. Maybe it doesn't want me to do this. I don't know, but we're doing it. Unless we sign a tight end. Like, unless there's a good free agent tight end, then we'll probably just sign him and move him back to receiver. But let's see who's available. Oh, there's a 99 overall pass rusher here. Kamani Fairley. Now, he probably gets 4 sacks per season, but he's a 99 overall. And that was a pretty good call. He had 4.5 sacks last year. He used to do pretty well, but I don't know what happened. I don't know why this is how a 99 overall plays, but we might have to sign him anyways. Just kidding, we don't have the cap space. Okay, well, never mind. But okay, here's what we are gonna do in free agency. Definitely an interesting class. It's a lot of old players here, like very few younger players. There is someone like Brian Ross that I'm thinking about going for? You know what? I will. We have the money. This is going to be spending like all of our money, but I want to try to make this team good. So we are going to go for Bijan Robinson, which is maybe the biggest single upgrade on the team. On paper, definitely not an upgrade because, well, it is. He's like 5 overall better than our current running back, whatever his name is. He's been horrible, but Bijan Robinson has been averaging like 6 yards per carry. I think it was like 5.1 this year, but that's still very good. He's old and he's definitely not, you know, the long-term option, but I definitely think in Madden, it's better to go with just band-aid options at running back who actually play well than trying to draft a running back and make them eventually play well, because running back might be the position where overall matters the least. There are outliers, I guess, but at least for the Madden generated running backs, like the draft class ones, they can be like a 95 overall and they might get like 3.8 yards per carry. Like, it's crazy. So yeah, we'll try to get Bijan. Brian Ross, he had like 14.5 sacks a couple years ago, so we'll hope that we can get that back. Definitely a bit undersized for a 3-4 end, but whatever. Ben Kitchens looks like he's played well, and then Rashad Winters will try to bring him back. So let's see if these 4 players want to sign. We get Bijan, Brian Ross, and Ben Hitchens, or Kitchens. I keep wanting to call him Hitchens. And then Winters doesn't sign. Honestly, I don't know if I trust Winters. I mean, he'll probably sign with us eventually, but he could be the one thing that completely ruins our offensive line. I guess we'll see. But let's get to the draft. And what do we really need to draft? Maybe another receiver if there's like a really good looking one, but like that didn't exactly go well last year. Center, and then like maybe a safety or corner if there's also a really good looking one. Ooh, Goddard has superstar dev. That's cool. I mean, I don't know what we're gonna do with him, especially because he's already 24, but still interesting. This is kind of an interesting trade. I'm gonna trade a 3rd round pick, which is maybe a bit much for a, you know, 78 overall receiver, but Justin Beeson has superstar dev, so that's kind of cool. I just wanted more depth at receiver. I mean, I guess he could be a starter. You know what? How are we feeling about Jamie Marshall? We could trade him away. We're gonna have no good receivers, at least good overall receivers, but he doesn't really do much for us, and he's old, and he has no dev trait. So we will get that 3rd round pick back. We'll trade him to the Broncos for a 3rd round pick. Sounds good. But in the draft, we surprisingly don't have the number 1 pick. I do see that we have 2 top 6 picks though. 6 picks? Am I okay? 2 top 6 picks. Pixes. There's something wrong with me, but I think we are going to trade this 3rd overall pick down. I don't even know what I want to do with the 6th pick, because it's just a lot of like quarterbacks, tackles who I don't like taking. I mean, we do need a tackle, kinda, but I don't like taking them. D linemen. Like, on paper, we really don't need any of that. We really just need like a center, maybe a really good receiver if there is one, and then DBs, and a linebacker, I guess. Okay, we're going to trade the 3rd overall pick to the Titans for pick 15, a 1st next year, a 2nd this year, and a 4th next year. We're gonna have so many draft picks. I don't know what we're gonna do with them, but we'll figure something out. And here, we're gonna make a reach, probably. I just don't feel like trading this down, I'm gonna be honest. So I'm like historically terrible picking in the top 10. I don't know why. Sometimes I'm good, but I'm definitely better picking like later. Marcel Potter looks okay at receiver. There was also a good corner. I don't know if he's actually good, I'm just assuming. He is 23. 4.46 is good speed, elite acceleration, so that averages out at like great. I definitely wouldn't call a 4.46 great. I don't even know if I'd call that good for a corner. That's like below average, or maybe not below average, but for starters probably. Ooh, Rashawn McDaniels, round 2, 4.31, a 4.24 at his pro day, elite speed, elite acceleration, A-man, B zone. We're not gonna take him yet. Do we really need more corners though? I don't know. Wait, even down here, Marquise Harris looks good. Joey Pettis might be good, but Antonio Galloway, shout out Antonio Callaway, kind of an idiot, but was a good receiver at one point. And then Amari Yancey. Why is every corner class so loaded in Madden? Like, that's the one position where I've thought about just going with normal draft classes. And safety maybe, but like, there aren't always a ton of good safeties. There are just usually like a few really good ones. I don't know. I'm just rambling. I don't know what I want to do with this pick. Let's go with absolutely 100,000% a reach in Marcel Potter, but I'm fine with it because I don't feel like trading down again. And then with our 2nd first-round pick, I don't know, maybe this is an interesting strategy. I think I'm really just going to make this offensive line as good and deep as I possibly can. Pause. But elite strength, first round talent, so this is a fair pick. Not projected to go until like the late first, but that's fine. Hidden dev, 97 strength. Let's see, we need a linebacker, at least like a possible future starter. I doubt we're gonna get an upgrade over the linebackers we have right now, but they're not the best. I don't know. Duron Tut looks good day 3, but that's day 3, so we'll wait. Emmett Nails is good apparently. Ron Parks looks maybe even better. Let's just go with Shane Godwin here. Another first round talent at guard, and I'm assuming he's a very good pass blocker, so let's take him. Hidden dev, sounds good. Let's take a chance on Ron Parks here because he does look pretty decent. Normal dev, great, but 89 strength, 79 speed, 84 excel. As always with Madden defensive lineman, he is an athletic freak. And who was the corner? Was it Rashawn McDaniels that looked crazy good? Yeah, so he's gonna be the last pick I show. I'll pick a few more. We definitely don't need more corner depth, but I mean, if we can find a really good player, y'all know my strategy. If you can find a good player, take a good player. Hidden dev, surprisingly, 95 speed and acceleration. Arguably should be even better, running a 4.31 and a 4.24, but we'll take it. But okay, definitely a better draft than last year. Still no 80 overalls picked, which kind of sucks with the amount of picks we've had, but even Marcel Potter was a good pick. I just don't understand how to take receivers apparently, because I thought he would be like a 76. He's a 78. I thought I was good at taking receivers. I'm usually decent, but the last 2 drafts have been questionable, but Potter's good at least. And then Andrew Harris and Shane Godwin are both 79 overalls. They're probably close to top 5 players in the class, which we'll check in a second. Ron Parks is whatever. We might move him to defensive tackle. He is only 6'6", 302 though, so that's kind of small for a nose tackle. And he goes up in overall, so why not? Makes it look better. And then both Rashawn McDaniels and Antonio Galloway are 79 overalls. So when we doubled up at positions back to back, they were all 79 overalls. That's interesting. And then the last 2 picks I made, Duron Tut's fine, like that's fine value, and then Mark Baker, that's fine. I didn't make these 2 picks. This running back is okay, but I want to see where our guys rank in the class at 79s. Okay, they are, so Galloway straight up, if we're going off this list, was a top 5 player in the class, but also all the other 79 overalls we took were technically tied for that too, so very good draft class. No 80 pluses, but to be fair, there were only 4 of them, and it was tight ends, which we weren't looking for, a running back, which we weren't looking for, and the other one was the number 1 pick, so we did literally about as well as we could have. But the team is looking pretty good heading into year 2. I'm still like a little undecided who I want to play where, but I think this is what we're going to go with. I moved Godwin to center, and we also signed Joe Alt out of free agency. I mean, pretty sure he's horrible in this game, unfortunately, but we'll see what happens. Definitely don't love our receiving core, but at least it's young. And then the defense is interesting. We're only an 87 overall team. Like, we are not great on paper, but we do have a lot younger players starting this year, or I guess a lot more young players starting this year is a better way to say that. A few rookies. We did add a few older players, but for the most part, we should develop a decent bit. So let's get to the midseason point, and this year I'm gonna say 2-5 again, but I think we'll do better in the second half of the year. That's my prediction. Maybe we'll be 3-4. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, worse than I expected. We are 1-6. Our offense isn't even really the issue. Like, we're 9th for yards. Our scoring isn't great. We're 21st with 20 points per game, but our defense was so good. I guess not our defense, but, you know, before we got here, the defense was great. I didn't even change anything, and now it's horrible. Like, what do I do? With defense, when it underperforms, it's tough, because if something like your O-line underperforms, you just bench one of them. But with the defense, it's hard to know what to do. Let's see, Nick Ramirez has 0 sacks so far. I guess he hasn't played much, but he's a 90 overall. We might trade him here because he sucks. He's really bad. At least Eric Dunn has 2 sacks, which is also horrible, but better. Okay, yeah, Nick Ramirez is getting traded here. I had hope that we could fix him, but no. I think we're gonna get a lot of value for him because he is a good overall. Like, that's not the problem. The problem is how he actually plays. I don't know if we should quite be able to get a first, but we'll take a second from the Chargers. So he's gone. gone, good riddance, and we still have 1 total interception on the year. All right, who's a DB who's underperforming? All of them, I guess. Mike Newell is doing really poorly, and Dwayne Walford, especially Dwayne Walford. Well, not much we can do about that. We don't really have any depth safeties. You know what? Call me crazy. I'm gonna sign Jared Verse. I must have done something wrong when I created Jared Verse for my rosters, because he is, like, insane in this game. He didn't really develop as a pass rusher, or I guess he just regressed. His pass rush moves aren't very good, but he's still fast and has good acceleration. That's interesting. I guess we'll sign him, though. We'll see if he does any better. But who do we have to re-sign? We might trade these guys away, too. Dion Grove, awful. Terrible running back. But he would start for a few teams, so I might trade him away too. We really just are slowly but surely building our own team here. I mean, there's a reason this team was 4-13. There are still teams out here with like 79 overall starters. That's interesting. We'll take like a 3rd round pick for him. Maybe that's not enough because he's still young, but it's running back. I don't really care. Marcus Clements I want back at linebacker. He resigns. Clint Snowden is here. We were gonna trade him away. Wait, was he our starter at right guard? I might have goofed up by trading the other one away. I mean, the other one wasn't good anyways, but maybe the Clint was the problem at right guard. I don't know who actually played there because they were both right guards. Whatever. Oh, I might just cut Joe Alt. Yeah, he's allowed 8 sacks in 7 games. I'm good. At least we're cleaning house here a little bit. But I'll refill out the roster, I'll rearrange the depth chart, and we'll see if we win another game on the season. I mean, we really didn't get worse. We just got rid of our underperformers, so we'll see. Okay, maybe we're just doomed to go 4-13 every year. Why were we 4-13 again? I thought we would get a little better. I thought we fixed our problems, but Hayden Griffin honestly just isn't good. I think we're gonna look for a new QB. I mean, again, I should clarify, these would be all right stats in real life, but in Madden, he was probably the worst QB this year. We'll have to look. I guess we can right now. At least in terms of passer rating, let's check. Okay, he was 2nd worst. Travis Alford for the Panthers was worse. But how do we even get a new quarterback? Like, would drafting one work, or would they just play about like this? I don't know. Well, either way, hold on. In terms of overall, where does Griffin rank? Because I think we're also gonna trade him away. Oh, he's only number 24 at an 88 overall. Okay, I might need to lower QB XP sliders. I don't think I have him that high though. No, I have him at 100. I didn't even raise him, which these are the sliders I'm using. Let me know if there's something that's like really bad, but usually I feel like this is what mostly makes everything balanced. I should go really high with tight end, which maybe I shouldn't, but I just feel like the problem with so many high overall players right now is the draft classes. They're just way too juiced. I know people don't like when I don't use the strong draft classes, but they make it so unrealistic. Like, I don't know. This doesn't seem like a players developing too quickly issue. It feels like a too many good players in draft classes issue. But Bijan was good, 1,200 yards, 4.7 per carry, 9 touchdowns, his worst year in a long time. Matt Ash, 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns, we'll take that. Potter was good, probably will be number 2 for offensive rookie of the year. The blocking was a lot better in the second half of the year. Rashad Winters wasn't good, and neither was Shane Godwin, but I don't know what to do about that. And then on defense, 122 tackles for Clements, TFLs, 20 for Stevenson, and sacks, 10 for Stevenson, but really that's it. God, Jared Verse didn't get a single sack either. He played almost 500 snaps too. Okay, I can't complain too much because he isn't very good, but still. Also, we had 3 total picks. All right, I think we'll give up on this defensive playbook. I know it was good, but it has been absolutely horrible for me, so we're gonna change it. But what's a good 3-4 playbook? There is not a single 3-4 defensive playbook there's no defensive playbook that's like consistently good. With offense, you can find a few, like the Chiefs offense, because, you know, it actually makes your offense play as well as it should. But what's a good... I used to like the Bucks, but using it lately, I don't like it as much. We'll give it a chance here. I know people tell me like the Steelers, every time I use that, it sucks. Like, we'll try this. You know what? Out of curiosity, what was the best defense this year? This is not how you do it. I don't know what I'm doing. For yards, it was the Lions. The Ravens were also up there. I've also not had good experiences using the Ravens or the Patriots, but they were good apparently. Maybe these teams have different coaches now. I don't know. But let's get into the offseason. we are going to trade our quarterback away and probably draft one. But okay, we are going to be trading Hayden Griffin to the Cardinals for a second-round pick. Hayden Griffin, again, good overall. Like an 88 in my rosters would probably be 5th in terms of overall. Because, yeah, I have, like, Mahomes at a 97. I think I have Lamar and Josh Allen at a 93. I think I have Burrow at a 92. And then I have Herbert at, like, an 87 or something. So, in real life, like, if you're getting an 88 overall QB, you're not just giving up a second-round pick. But here he's the 24th ranked QB. So, a second-round pick is probably about fair. And he's been playing like one of the worst. So, I guess his play matches his overall. Interesting. Okay, we need a corner. Oh, unfortunately, Tyrone Farrell overall doesn't matter. So at a 92 overall last year, he had 0 interceptions and 3 pass deflections in a full starting season. This would be maybe what a 66 overall would get. Only 3 pass deflections in a full starting season is crazy terrible. Like, that's awful. I mean, I guess we don't know how many yards he allowed, so maybe he just didn't get targeted. I don't know, but it's not good either way. We still might have to sign him though, because it's not like we have anyone that's much better. But let me free up some money and we'll see what we can do. Okay, so I may or may not be trading for a player here, and I may or may not be currently having second thoughts about it because he isn't a scheme fit, but we have the 1st overall pick and the 3rd overall pick. Our trade downs have worked out so well here. Like, usually if we trade back, the team we trade back with ends up being one of the best teams in the league, so we get like the 29th pick. But here we've been getting really good ones. Like, the teams we've been trading players to have been horrible, or not trading players to, but like trading down in the draft with. So I was gonna give up a 1st for Ezekiel Newton. I'm definitely not gonna give up a top 3 pick for him though, unless they pick at 8. Let me check out the draft first, because we're obviously thinking QB this year, right? Where are the QBs ranked? Oh, okay, so we would probably want to trade down that 1st overall pick. Okay, we are getting an absolute haul here. We are gonna be taking Ezekiel Newton, who was, I think, the sack leader for the NFL. He had 19, so that means he's probably going to get about 6 this year for us, but we're going to move him to outside linebacker because he is a speed rusher, which is interesting because he's like 275 or 270 something. But we're also getting a 1st this year, which is 8th overall, the 1st next year for the Patriots. The more I look at this, the more I'm probably realizing we're taking too much from the Patriots, definitely, but they took it. I didn't make them, all right? And Ezekiel Newton is also 30, so I'm kind of, you know, adding that into the equation too. If he was like 25, then he could possibly be worth, you know, close to the #1 pick on his own, but he has had at least 10 sacks for the last 7 years. So this is going to be his 1st year under 10 sacks in a long time. And we are going to be making another trade here. We're going to trade for Ladarius Pointer from the Chiefs. Is this someone we had at one point? Why does that name sound familiar? I feel like I've had someone with that name before, that exact name, like recently. But he led the league in pass deflections for a corner with 9, which the fact that 9 was the most for a corner is crazy. The problem is he had 0 picks, but I don't know. We'll hope that the new defensive playbook fixes that. I don't know what we can do about that, but we're giving up a decent bit for him. We're giving up a 2nd and a 3rd. Like, that isn't super cheap. And he is already 27, which isn't super old, but it's usually about where regression starts. Why'd I go to the Chiefs? So yeah, 9 pass deflections. Hopefully that's better than what we've had, but 95, man. That's another... I don't want to complain again. I'll just stop right there. But let's get to the draft, because there isn't really anyone I want in free agency, honestly. I'd rather just save money for next year. Like, we could go with a QB, I guess. Oh, but no, Keegan Wiley hasn't been very good. Trevor Lawrence has probably been pretty good. Yeah, but he's 36, so I'd rather get a long-term option at QB than a Band-Aid option. You know what? Actually, these quarterbacks are really cheap. Okay, maybe I do want a Band-Aid option. I was just assuming, you know, because they're pretty good overalls, they would be super expensive, but they're not at all. You know what? Well, I mean, I'm gonna start a rookie almost no matter what, so I don't know if there's a point to me signing one of these QBs. Yeah, we'll sign Bryce Young, sure, why not? Assuming he wants to, that's fine. And I would sign a receiver, but all the receivers in free agency are really old. That might be something we trade for next year. Oh, Bryce Young isn't gonna sign. We'll just bring Jordan Love back. It looks like he was really good last year for the Dolphins. You know what? What if we don't draft a quarterback? I know Jordan Love isn't the best overall here, but he's been playing really well. What if we just bounce between like old, cheap quarterbacks every year because they'll all play well? That might be the strategy. We'll see. No guarantees that that's what we'll do, but we might have to. But this year we pick at number 3, of course. Unfortunately, there just isn't a good quarterback though. I mean, maybe George Minsey. He has a strong arm and he looks okay, but like not worth taking here. He doesn't look that good. So we are gonna go with Jordan Love this year, which, you know, bring back the old Packers QB. We'll see how that goes. Oh, am I getting baited again? Matt Thompson at receiver. Not even the highest ranked receiver or highest projected, but looked crazy good. Juan McMillan also looks good. Did that say, I thought that said 4.67 speed. 4.57 is still disgustingly slow. I can't believe they call that solid and good. Their scale for what's a good 40 time. If there's a receiver running a 4.57, like that's not good. Like that's not a player that's going in the first round. I'm sorry. But all right, do we take Matt Thompson? Do we take our like 30th receiver of the of this rebuild? Maybe, because I don't know what else to do. Josh Holt at defensive tackle also looks really good, but D tackles and D linemen are kind of the same, where players need to look absolutely insane to be even good. You know what I mean? I don't know. I repeat a lot of the same points. I feel like I'm stuck in an infinite loop. Let's pick at number 3. Let's take the receiver. We'll take Matt Thompson, probably normal dev, because this game hates me and wants me to not be happy. It's succeeding, but we'll take him. Why? All right, let's take Josh Holt. He might be good. Looks insanely good. Probably just pretty good. At least has hidden dev. Thank you. I don't know what we're gonna do with him, but he looked good, so I'm gonna take the player that looks good. I really don't even think he's gonna start, which is kind of crazy for a top 10 pick. And let's see. I want a safety, but honestly, these safety classes have been weirdly bad. Like, there have been a few that have gone super early that have been really good, but usually there's like a first to second round guy that's like, or at least one that's like an 82 overall or in the 80s somewhere, but I haven't seen one. Even this year, I haven't seen one at all. Maybe like Spencer Miller? No, probably not. Jonathan Cobbs? He might be decent. He's at least faster, despite not being faster. Spencer Miller ran a 4.45 and a 4.38, has good speed, solid acceleration. Jonathan Cobbs ran a 4.5 and a 4.46, and has great speed, great acceleration, because that makes sense. Thanks, Madden. Same position, by the way, obviously. I really don't see anyone good. At least at a position where we haven't already taken like 15 of them. Corner or receiver. J.R. Smith, that's interesting. I don't know. I genuinely might just simulate the rest of this draft out. I don't know what to do. I'll just go with one of the safeties. Let's go with... How does Gilbert Hughes look? No. I guess we'll just go with Jonathan Cobbs, because I don't know what else to do. Hidden dev, surprisingly. Wish the receiver we took had hidden dev. I'm trying, all right? Okay, this was a really bad draft. Really bad. Matt Thompson, I'm glad we at least traded down from number 1. This might have just been a horrible draft class. We'll have to see in a second, but wow, the CPU did really bad too. Thompson's only a 78, which, you know, if he had a dev trait, that would have been a good pick, but whatever. I mean, well, it wouldn't have been good necessarily at number 3, but it would have been better. Josh Holt, 76. I should have predicted, because that's exactly what I thought he would be, even though he looked insane. And then Jonathan Cobbs, 76. That's good value, I guess. Okay, yeah, it was a bad draft class. Again, only 4 80 pluses, 3 of them being corners, and 1 of them being the receiver that I thought also looked good. I should just stay away from taking physical receivers. That's what I'm learning. At least I'm learning something. Go more for playmakers sometimes. But I mean, we still didn't do bad. Thompson was one of the better players in the class. I guess so was Holt and Cobbs. Like, we did okay. This was just a really bad class. The CPU did absolutely nothing too, so that's fun. I might make one more trade. I know I've made like a million, but I think we have to make one more. We have to. If I can trade for one, because the position I'm thinking of is kind of hard to trade for in Madden. Okay, we are gonna be giving a 2nd and 3rd round pick for, his name is Donovan, but it's spelled like Donovan. It's, unless I just imagine that, I don't know, I'm really tired. I didn't look at it for very long, but Donovan Hyde, 88 overall. He's only like 26 years old. He had superstar devs, so we needed a receiver, like a really good one. We have a lot of them, we just don't have that good of one, at least in terms of overall. My headphones are like bugging out. Yeah, it's Donovan. How about you just spell it normal? How about, would that be too crazy? Is there a single person that has ever been named Donovan? Probably. There's probably one watching right now, and I sincerely apologize. I see someone named Donna Vaughn. Like Donna is their first name. Okay, I'm not kidding when I say I don't, like I just Googled it. There's nobody with this name. There are some without the extra A at the very end, but, oh, I found one. Donovan Campbell. Blue-gray football, whatever the hell that is. I feel like I've heard of that. I don't know. Whatever. Another classic Brandon the Simp pointless ramble. Y'all are used to that, though. But okay, heading into year 3, we are a better overall. We're up to a 92, and I'll check in a second where we rank in the league for overall. I think I was gonna do that last year, and I just forgot. Whatever. Every team's probably about the same overall, but there was a really good tackle in free agency. Now, he is 34, but Dennis Harris, how's he been playing, actually? Oh, really good. Okay. Now, that probably means he'll allow 9 sacks for us, but I guess that'll be about the same as it has been, so whatever. And I moved Cooper to left tackle, so we'll see how that goes. But the defense should be better this year, I would hope. No promises, but we did a lot to upgrade it. So if it isn't better, then this is just an EA issue, I guess. I don't even know. Like, we have a 92 overall defense. But let's check super quick where this ranks. Probably not the best, but, oh, the Saints have a 91. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I'm not very kept up with, like, X Factor abilities and a lot of the stuff about the game. I've never seen the ability Mind Reader before. A few players have it, but the Lions are also a 91. So that's 2 teams better than us in terms of overall. But, oh, the Vikings are also a 90. Of course, 2 division rivals. Great. But we're, like, tied for 4th with, like, a million different teams. So we should be really good this year. We should easily be a playoff team. Just, it looks like we struggled in the preseason again, so we'll see what happens. Let's get to the midseason point. I'm gonna hope for 3 and 4, but realistically, we're probably gonna be like 2 and 5 or 1 and 6. How do we make this team good? This is hard. This is way harder than I expect. Here's the problem. Mini rant. I'm gonna make this quick. Madden generated players. With quarterbacks, they play way too well most of the time. With like pass rushers, linemen, running backs, they play horribly. So it's just about finding the ones that play well. That's the hard thing. I know I've kind of ranted about that like a million times already, but like, I feel like that's why it's so hard. I don't know. Also, I thought the Vikings were like a 90. I don't know. Okay, that might be the biggest turnaround I have ever seen in Madden. We went from 4 and 13 last year, like bottom of the barrel defense, bad offense. We are 7 and 0 with the best offense and the best defense in the league. I don't know if it was the defensive playbook, but Buccaneers defense for a 3-4, like I said, I used to like it a lot. I think it was really good in like Madden 22. It was widely seen as one of the good ones. I don't even know if it was or if I just liked it, but something's working this year, clearly, finally. So it looks like we fixed at least most of the issues. We could fall off in the second half of the year, but then again, I don't know, because we have like, again, the best offense and best defense. Also #1 offense for yards, 3rd defense for yards. Okay, things are working. It's getting better. I guess that's what'll happen when you get rid of all your issues and find some of the best players at their positions in terms of performance, like Ladarius Pointer, who we immediately have to re-sign. But we'll go 4 years, 60 mil. He takes it. Oh yeah, also, I should mention, this is completely random. So weird to do this in between me signing players, but if you couldn't tell, I got a new microphone. Honestly, listening to it back, I couldn't tell that much, to be honest with you. I'll need to mess with some of the settings, but we'll see how it sounds. But okay, sorry for ruining the 4th wall. To be honest, I never really care about that. I just kind of talk, but Cliff Stevenson, 3 years, 61 mil. He takes it. Mike Newell has been kind of horrible. Not kind of horrible, like horrible. Oh my God. He hasn't had an interception in his career, but he's an 87 overall, like, and for a safety by this point, that's probably pretty good because safeties are hard to develop. Number 13 ranked strong safety. Okay, I mean, still 0 interceptions through your career. That's a bit crazy in it, a bit wacky. I don't know if I really want any of the rest of these guys back though. Like, Ooh, Alex Cooper is here. I'm kind of scared to re-sign him because I feel like as soon as I re-sign him, he's gonna play like shit. But I mean, we're still gonna. We'll go 3 years, 88.5 mil. He takes it. Or no, wait, did he take it? Okay, yeah, he did. We still have to re-sign Dennis Harris and Bijan. You know, I thought cap space would be a problem, but I didn't think it would immediately be a problem after we, you know, trade away most of our players. Not that this is immediate anymore, but it's been a problem this whole rebuild. So kind of tough, but we're surviving. So let's get to the end of the year and we will see how we finish. But okay, here we are at the end of year number 3. And you know, if you've seen one of these videos before, y'all know why we're here. If you haven't already, be sure to leave a like on the video. Be sure to subscribe. Again, what did I even say? 2,000 likes, 2,500 likes, and I'll do a 20-year in the future rebuild, not a 20-year rebuild in the future. That might actually drive me insane. A rebuild 20 years in the future, you know what I mean. And subscribe for more, like I said, trying to hit 60K very soon. We're very close, so if you like rebuilds and you haven't subscribed yet, what are you doing? And let me know any fun rebuild ideas y'all have down below. Maybe something related to this, if you can come up with anything cool, let me know. But we are now up to a 90 overall, 93 defense, 88 offense, and in year number 3, we finished 15-2. We were so close to going 17-0. I don't know if I've ever gone 17-0 in franchise. I mean, there have definitely been points where we deserve to, but when we deserve to be like insanely good, we usually end up going like 8-9. But Jordan Love, 4,444 yards. Interesting. 37 touchdowns, 4 picks, 75 completion percentage, almost 1,500 yards for Bijan, 4.8 per carry, and 23 touchdowns. 1,300 yards for Donovan Hyde. That name is like hilariously long. 15 touchdowns, 11 touchdowns for Matt Ash. Our blocking was much better this year. I mean, that's definitely a quarterback thing. If you've played franchise, you probably know. My game froze. Oh, my controller disconnected again. But on defense, not many tackles, which is a good thing. That's a sign of a good defense. It's getting off the field. Cliff Stevenson, 20 TFLs still in probably not that many snaps. Yeah, less than 1,000. What an insane season from him. And then sacks, 14 for Stevenson. Newton with 12, definitely not as good as last year, but still 12 sacks. That's 12 better than what we've had. What was that guy's what was his name? Like Marcus Ramirez? What was his name? Probably led the league in sacks this year. No, he didn't. It's funny, it's all defensive ends for the most part. That's interesting. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But Brian Ross also had 11 sacks, even 7.5 for Eric Dunn. And then picks, 3 for Walford, 2 for Clements and Dawkins, and 1 for Pointer. But MVP goes to Cam Franklin for the Raiders. Jordan Love at number 2. I didn't realize he was going to be that close, so it was definitely a good idea to bring him back. Offensive Player of the Year goes to Bijan, Donovan Hyde at 6, Jordan Love at 7. All 3 players that I decided to add, so those were all definitely good additions. And then Cliff Stevenson at 3. Was he originally someone here? I think he was. Surprisingly, no Newton up here. That's crazy. But Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Julius Hopkins. Brendan Cousins way down there. Did I check last year for... I don't know if I checked yearly awards last year. I might not have. Oh well. But nobody for either of the Rookie of the Year awards, really. But we have some upgrades. Anything important? Oh, yeah, okay. Newton, Stevenson, Ash, Hardwick, just 4 really good starters. No biggie. But let's see, we almost went 17-0. What are the 2 games we lost? I see we lost week 18 to the Vikings in a really close game, which is fair. They were good. They were a really good team on paper. But what was the other game we lost? To the Rams. We started out, what, 14-0? Damn. Honestly, we were kind of bad in the last 3 games. I mean, we were 2-1 in the last, or 1-2 in the last 3 games. Not great, but we are going to be taking on the Atlanta Falcons in the divisional. The Falcons are just one of those teams, man. They're like the Jaguars. They're the other Jaguars for me, where whenever we face them in the playoffs, their overall doesn't matter. They just always somehow manage to beat us. Like the Cowboys, too. Like the Panthers sometimes. It's all the NFC teams, man, other than, I guess, the Jags. The AFC doesn't really have another team like that, where we just always lose to them in the playoffs. I don't know, but we have a first of many scenario here, our first playoff game. We will go play it cool. Y'all know me, not going to guarantee this win, because I don't think we're going to win, honestly. But we do have a better team on paper. We're a 90 to their 89. We should win this game. We were better at literally everything, other than, I guess, third down percentage, but barely. So let's see what happens. Okay, we do win, 35-21. We do beat the Falcons. And we are going to be taking on the Minnesota Vikings in the conference championship. We have a first of many scenario here, or a recap for it. Give us those sweet, juicy staff points. And we have a playoff rival scenario. You know, this was one of our 2 losses on the season. I always go chess match. I don't know which one's better to go with. And we have a hot opponent scenario for the Vikings. Again, we'll go be confident. We won't insult them. Doesn't sound like a good idea. Don't want them playing any better. Would that be an advantage? I know, like, high overall seems like a disadvantage. Is insult them, like, better? Insult opponent? It adds overall to them. It makes them angry. I don't know. I might have to think about that. Plus, it's a higher reward if you win it. I don't know. But all right, let's simulate this game against the Vikings. I really don't think we're going to win this one, but let's see if we can move on to our first Super Bowl of the rebuild. And we do. A very low scoring game again, just like the last one. We win 14-9. And we should get a ton of XP or morale or whatever this is gonna give us for these scenarios. We're going streaking. That's illegal. 2,500 XP, we'll take it. Kind of cursed to see Jordan Love with number 19, but whatever. I don't feel like changing it. He's playing well, so I'm not gonna mess with anything. But we get a ton of upgrades, so that's huge. Most of our players on the team get an upgrade point, and we are gonna be taking on the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl. Only 9-8, which, again, kind of like the Falcons, the Jags, the Cowboys. There's just a magic to being 9-8 in the playoffs in Madden. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it's a thing. It genuinely seems like, I don't know, it's an intentional thing. It's weird how much you lose to 9-8 teams in the playoffs in Madden. It's really strange, but we have a Super Bowl media day here. We are the better team on paper and record and everything. Is this everything? If we win this game, should this be the last game? I mean, honestly, I doubt we're gonna get back here. You know what? It'll add a little bit of intensity to this game. I'm gonna say, yeah, this is gonna be the last game of our rebuild. I know this is a short one, but I'd rather end on a positive note here than struggle for like 3 more years to get back to this point and fail. I know that's a very pessimistic outlook, but I've played this game enough to know what's gonna happen over the next few years. So we are gonna watch this game simulate. Let's jump in. The final game, no matter what. We're either going out with a Super Bowl win or we're going out sad. I don't know. We will see what happens. But here we go in AT&T Stadium. Let's jump to the end of the game here and let's see what happens. We do score first, but it is only a field goal and we get a touchdown right after that. The Bills are driving. They do get a touchdown, but we get another field goal. I wish those could be touchdowns, but we do get another to make it 20-7. Now 26-7. Did we go for 2 or did we miss an extra point? Doesn't matter though, because we are absolutely destroying the Bills and it is going to end 33-21 as we have successfully turned the worst team 10 years into the future into the Super Bowl champion within 3 years. That's crazy. It took a lot. This is the most I have ever done to a team within 3 years, I think. Like, we pretty much completely changed this roster, other than a few defensive players and a few offensive linemen, but that's what it took. Still, Jordan Love wearing 19 is something, but we were successful at getting this team a Super Bowl. But I really hope y'all enjoyed this rebuild as much as I did. This was a ton of fun, and again, if you want me to do a 20-year version of this, or I guess 20 years in the future, let me know by leaving a like. It sounds stupid, but it really does help out the channel, and again, it'll let me know that y'all want to see it. I would assume that it'll be a little more normal, because this went from staying as one of the worst teams in the league to Super Bowl winner in the span of a year, but you never know. But yeah, again, this was a ton of fun. I really hope y'all enjoyed, but with that, I will see y'all again in the next video. Goodbye.